Your mind doesn't know the difference between a memory and a vision of the future, so why not give it a future worth believing in? The biggest shift you'll ever make isn't outside of you. It's the moment you decide to embody the reality you desire before it happens. Stop waiting for life to prove to you that it's working out, act as if it already is, and watch how reality bends in your favor. When we speak about acting as if everything always works out for you, the first step is understanding the power of assumption. Assumption is not mere wishful thinking, and it is not daydreaming without foundation. Assumption is the conscious choice to embody a reality before it has physically manifested. It is the practice of aligning the mind, body, and emotions with a future vision so completely that the brain no longer sees it as something separate or distant. The human mind does not differentiate between what is vividly imagined and what is tangibly experienced. Neuroscience has proven that when you rehearse a skill, whether it is playing the piano, throwing a ball, or giving a speech, the same regions of the brain fire as if you were actually doing it. In the external world, this is the key to why assumption holds such power. The brain begins to wire and fire in new ways, sending new signals to the body, and the body begins to memorize a new emotional state that reflects the outcome you are practicing. Imagine a person who constantly assumes that life is against them, that nothing ever works out, and that obstacles always block their path. Their thoughts produce chemicals of stress and fear, their body tightens, their heart rate rises, and their energy field contracts. Over time, their external reality mirrors this state back to them. Will notice delays, rejections, or lack of progress because their inner world is broadcasting a frequency of resistance. Now, shift the lens to someone who deliberately assumes that everything always works out. This person wakes up each day embodying the feeling that life is orchestrating events in their favor. Their nervous system is calm, their heart radiates coherence, their brain waves settle into balance, and their energy field becomes expansive and magnetic. They walk into opportunities with confidence, and because they assume success, they carry themselves as if the outcome is inevitable. That state of being becomes a magnet that draws corresponding experiences. When you act as if you are training your subconscious mind to accept a new truth, the subconscious is like fertile soil, and whatever seed is planted repeatedly will grow into reality. The seed of assumption is powerful because it bypasses the doubt of the conscious mind. Instead of hoping for change or pleading with the universe, you decide and feel that it is already unfolding. That feeling begins to overwrite the old programming. You may have been conditioned by past failures, disappointments, or traumas that taught you not to expect too much. But when you deliberately assume a different outcome, you are saying to your body and mind, I am no longer living from the past. I am teaching myself to live from the future. There is a profound shift that occurs when you stop waiting for evidence in the outer world and instead cultivate the evidence within. The brain begins to believe what you repeatedly tell it and show it through feeling. If you constantly feed your mind the narrative that everything is working out, your body will begin to relax into that state. You will feel lighter, more open, and more receptive. From this space, ideas flow more easily, solutions reveal themselves, and synchronicities line up in unexpected ways. Assumption is not forcing reality, it is allowing your internal state to harmonize with the future you have chosen, and by doing so, reality bends toward you. It is important to recognize that assumption works not just on the mental level, but also on the emotional level. To assume is to feel as though it is already happening. If you merely repeat affirmations without embodying the feeling, the subconscious does not fully accept the message. But when you combine thought with elevated emotion, you create coherence. That coherence is the signal you broadcast into the quantum field, into the unseen intelligence that orchestrates the unfolding of life. When your thoughts and emotions are aligned with a future vision, you are no longer waiting for life to prove it to you. You are proving it to yourself first. Think of it as stepping into a movie role. If an actor only memorizes the lines but never feels Character, the performance falls flat. But when the actor immerses fully in the character's emotions, the audience believes it to be real. In the same way, when you immerse yourself in the state of everything working out, life begins to believe you. People around you sense the certainty, situations respond differently, and opportunities unfold. Your inner conviction reshapes your outer experience. The power of assumption is also deeply connected to the nervous system. When you act as if everything is working out, your body shifts out of survival mode. The constant fight-or-flight response, which keeps the body flooded with stress hormones, quiets down. Instead, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the state of rest, repair, and creation. In this state, the immune system strengthens, the heart comes into balance, and the brain becomes more coherent. This biological shift supports the manifestation of new outcomes because your entire physiology is aligned with growth rather than fear. Assumption also frees you from the grip of time. Most people live in the past, recycling old emotions, or in the future, worrying about what might go wrong. But assumption collapses time by bringing the future into the present moment. You embody it now, you live it now, you experience the joy, gratitude, and certainty now. This practice shortens the gap between where you are and where you want to be because energetically you are already there. The external world simply has catch up to the internal state you have chosen. By choosing assumption, you become the cause rather than the effect. You stop reacting to external circumstances and begin generating new experiences from within. You are no longer a victim of life, but a co-creator with it. Every time you act as if, you reinforce a new pattern in your brain, a new memory in your body, and a new signature in your energy field. Over time, this becomes your natural state, and the old patterns of doubt and fear fade into the background. This is the true essence of the power of assumption. It is not about pretending, it is about embodying, and through embodiment, transformation takes place. The subconscious mind is the invisible driver of most of our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Scientists estimate that nearly 95% of what we think, do, and feel in a day is not a conscious choice, but rather an automatic program playing out beneath the surface. These programs are often written early in life, shaped by childhood experiences, cultural conditioning, repeated thoughts, and emotional events. They become the lens through which we see the world and the blueprint from which we create our lives. If those programs are filled with fear, doubt, scarcity, or the belief that life does not support us, then no matter how hard we try consciously, we will keep bumping up against the same patterns. Reprogramming the subconscious is therefore not only beneficial, it is essential. When we want to live as if everything always works out for us, the subconscious does not learn in the same way the conscious mind does. The conscious mind works with logic, analysis, and reasoning. It sets goals, makes plans, and reads books. The subconscious, however, is impressionable. It learns through repetition, emotion, and imagery. It is like fertile soil waiting for seeds to be planted. Whatever is planted consistently will grow, whether it is weeds of fear or flowers of possibility. If we want to shift into a life where we truly act as if everything is unfolding in our favor, we must deliberately plant new seeds in this soil and water them daily. One of the most effective ways to do this is through the power of feeling. The subconscious does not respond strongly to empty words. It responds to the emotional charge behind them. If you tell yourself, "I am successful," but you feel doubt and contraction in your body, the subconscious hears the feeling, not the statement. But if you say those words while generating the elevated emotions of joy, gratitude, and certainty, the subconscious accepts it as truth. This is why visualization is so powerful. When you close your eyes and vividly imagine a scenario where everything has worked out for you, and you allow yourself to feel the emotions of that outcome as though it has already happened, the subconscious records that experience as real. It cannot tell the difference between a vividly rehearsed inner experience and an external one. Over time, these rehearsals become the new program, replacing old patterns of lack and limitation. Another essential aspect of reprogramming is consistency. The subconscious mind has been conditioned over years and decades, so one moment of positive thinking is not enough to overwrite the old code. It requires daily practice, much like strengthening a muscle. Each time you consciously choose to feel the state of everything is working out, you are firing and wiring new neural circuits. Each time you elevate your emotions to match that vision, you are teaching your body to memorize a new future. This is how the subconscious begins to shift from running on old memories of the past to operating from the blueprint of the future. It is also important to understand that the subconscious mind communicates with the body. If you have lived in fear, stress, or doubt for years, your body has memorized those states and become addicted to them. This is why people often find themselves pulled back into familiar cycles, even when their conscious mind wants something different. The body craves the chemical cocktail of stress hormones because it has been conditioned to feel safe in the familiar. To reprogram the subconscious, we must break that cycle by giving the body new emotional experiences to crave. When you generate feelings of safety, abundance, joy, and gratitude, the body learns to prefer those states, and the subconscious begins to align with them. Meditation is one of the most powerful tools for this process because it quiets the conscious mind long enough to access the subconscious. When the analytical mind softens, the barrier between conscious and subconscious becomes thinner, and new suggestions can be planted more easily. In meditation, when you move into deep relaxation, the brain shifts into slower wave states, such as theta, which is the same state children are in when they absorb information effortlessly. This is why meditative practices are so effective in reprogramming the subconscious. You can imagine the future you want. Feel it fully and impress it deeply upon the subconscious while the mind is most receptive. Reprogramming also involves letting go of the old. Many people attempt to create a new life while still holding onto the emotions of the past. But the subconscious cannot hold two opposing programs at once without creating conflict. To truly live as if everything always works out, you must become conscious of the old narratives you have been repeating. Perhaps you were told that life is hard, that opportunities are scarce, or that you are not worthy of success. These are not universal truths. They are programs. By observing them, you begin to weaken their power. By refusing to feed them with your attention and energy, they begin to dissolve. In their place, you can plant new narratives that reflect the truth you wish to live. As you do this work, you begin to notice subtle shifts. You may find that you no longer react to challenges with panic, but with calm certainty. You may notice opportunities showing up where you used to see only dead ends. You may feel more at ease, more confident, and more open to possibilities. These are signs that the subconscious is adopting the new program. You are no longer driven by the old conditioning that told you life works against you. Instead, you are guided by the inner belief that life is always working for you. Reprogramming the subconscious is not about denial or pretending that challenges do not exist. It is about choosing the lens through which you interpret those challenges. When the subconscious is programmed with the belief that everything works out, even obstacles are seen as part of the greater unfolding, stepping stones rather than barriers. This state of mind and body creates resilience, creativity, and trust. Qualities that allow you to navigate life with grace and magnetize the outcomes you desire. By committing to this inner transformation, you create an entirely new foundation from which to live, one that continuously reinforces the truth that everything is indeed working out for you. To act as if everything always works out for you, it is not enough to simply think about a better future. You must feel it into existence. This is the essence of emotional alignment with the future. Thoughts are electrical, but emotions are magnetic. Together they create the electromagnetic field that surrounds your body and communicates with the energy of the environment. When your emotions align with the future you desire, you are broadcasting a signal that draws matching experiences back to you. It is like tuning a radio station. If you want to hear music from a specific frequency, you must tune the dial to that frequency. In the same way, if you want to live in a reality where life always works out for you, you must tune your inner state to match the emotions of that reality right now. Most people make the mistake of waiting for the outer world to give them permission to feel good. They tell themselves they will feel joy when they get the promotion, gratitude when they receive the relationship, or peace when their financial situation improves. But this approach keeps them stuck in a cycle of waiting because the outer world is only reflecting the inner state. If you wait for success, feel successful, you are postponing the signal that creates success. If you wait for love to feel love, you are postponing the magnetism that draws love to you. Emotional alignment is the art of generating the feelings of your desired future in the present moment, before any evidence appears. When you can embody gratitude, joy, peace, and certainty now, you collapse the distance between yourself and the life you want to live. Think about the version of yourself who already knows everything always works out. How does that person wake up in the morning? How do they walk into a room? How do they respond to challenges? They would not be anxious or doubtful. They would carry a calm trust, an inner smile, and a sense of possibility. Their body language would be open, their energy expansive, and their words aligned with confidence. To emotionally align with the future, you must begin to embody those qualities now. When you practice living as that version of yourself, the emotions you generate become a signal to the universe that you are already there. The heart plays a central role in this process. When you generate elevated emotions such as gratitude, compassion, and joy, the heart comes into coherence. In a state of coherence, the rhythm of the heart becomes harmonious, sending powerful signals to the brain that influence your state of being. Research shows that heart coherence strengthens intuition, enhances creativity, and improves decision making. More importantly, it creates a magnetic field around the body that extends far beyond the physical form. This field interacts with the quantum field, influencing the probabilities of what shows up in your life. When you emotionally align with the future, you are not just imagining change, you are radiating the energy of that change into the field around you. One of the most transformative ways to practice emotional alignment is through the feeling of gratitude. Gratitude is the state of already having received. When you feel grateful for a future that has not yet arrived, you are tricking your body into believing it has already happened. The subconscious accepts that signal as truth, and the body begins to memorize it as an experience. This creates a powerful alignment because you are no longer chasing after the future. You are embodying it now. Gratitude dissolves the gap between longing and having, between hoping and knowing. It allows you to step into the reality where everything is already working out, and by sustaining that emotional state, you invite the outer world to conform to it. It is natural for doubts and old emotions to arise when practicing this alignment. The body, conditioned by the past, may resist by pulling you back into familiar feelings of fear or lack. This is where awareness becomes crucial. When you notice those old emotions, you do not suppress them or fight them. You acknowledge them as remnants of the past program. Then you gently redirect your focus back to the emotions of your chosen future. With practice, the new emotions become more familiar than the old ones. Over time, your body learns to prefer the elevated state, and emotional alignment becomes your default way of being. Visualization can deepen this practice. When you close your eyes and see yourself living in the reality where everything always works out, allow yourself to step into that scene fully. Do not just watch it like a movie, feel it as though you are inside it. Hear the sounds, see the colors, sense the environment, and most importantly, feel the emotions of that reality. How does your body feel knowing that life is always arranging itself in your favor? What emotions naturally arise when you imagine synchronicities unfolding, doors opening, and solutions presenting themselves effortlessly? When you generate those feelings vividly and repeatedly, you align your emotional state with that version of the future. This practice also reshapes your identity. Your personality creates your personal reality. If your personality is made up of the same thoughts, emotions, and behaviors of the past, then your reality will look the same as it always has. But when you emotionally align with the future, you are no longer being the same person. You are no longer waking up and reacting to life as your old self. You are rehearsing a new identity, one who knows and feels that life always works out, that new personality produces a new personal reality. Because the energy you emit is different and life must respond accordingly. As this alignment strengthens, something extraordinary happens. You begin to notice synchronicities, unexpected events that line up perfectly, opportunities that arrive at the right time, conversations that lead to breakthroughs. These are not coincidences, they are feedback from the universe, reflecting the frequency you are radiating. When you emotionally align with the future, you become magnetic to the experiences that match your inner state. Instead of chasing after outcomes, you find yourself attracting them with ease. The external world begins to mirror the certainty, gratitude, and joy you are embodying internally. Every human being has been conditioned at some point to question whether life is truly on their side. Doubt becomes a reflex, a default setting that arises whenever something does not go according to plan or when the future feels uncertain. The problem with doubt is not that it exists, but that it becomes a habitual emotional state. A habit of doubt creates a lens through which you see the world, a filter that automatically interprets experiences as evidence that things are unlikely to work out. When doubt becomes ingrained, it quietly sabotages the ability to align with a new future because the body and mind are rehearsing the same old story of failure, limitation, and disappointment. To act as if everything always works out for you, this cycle of doubt must be broken, and in its place a new pattern of trust must be created. Doubt anchors you to the past. Whenever you feel doubt, it is often not about the present moment, but about the memory of something that went wrong before. The mind replays those old experiences and projects them into the future as if they will repeat. This is why doubt feels so heavy. It chains you to the emotions of past events and convinces you they are destined to unfold again. The truth is that the past only continues to live in you if you keep rehearsing it. The nervous system does not know the difference between a memory revisited and an event happening now. Each time you revisit an old failure, the same chemistry of stress floods your body, reinforcing the subconscious belief that the outcome you want is unlikely. Breaking the habit of doubt requires interrupting this cycle at the level of both thought and emotion. It begins by becoming conscious of the moment when doubt arises. Instead of unconsciously following the old train of thought, you pause and observe. You notice the story the mind is telling, you notice the sensations in the body, and you recognize that this is simply a familiar program running again. That awareness creates space, and in that space, you can choose a different response. You can choose to no longer feed the memory with energy. You can choose to replace it with the vision of the future you are stepping into. Over time, this act of noticing and redirecting weakens the grip of doubt. When you act as if everything always works out, you are essentially rehearsing the opposite of doubt. You are teaching the body and mind to become familiar with trust instead of fear, with possibility instead of limitation. Each time you embody certainty in the face of uncertainty, you are breaking the habit of doubt. Each time you feel gratitude for a future that has not yet happened, you are breaking the habit of doubt. Each time you choose to interpret a challenge as a stepping stone rather than a dead end, you are breaking the habit of doubt. These repetitions begin to carve out a new neurological pathway, a new emotional pattern that becomes stronger than the old one. It is important to recognize that doubt is often tied to survival. The brain has evolved to predict danger, to anticipate worst-case scenarios as a way of keeping you safe. But in the modern world, this Survival mechanism often works against creation. Instead of protecting you from real danger, it keeps you locked in imaginary ones. The habit of doubt becomes a form of self-sabotage disguised as self-protection. Breaking this habit requires stepping beyond survival mode. When you calm the body, regulate the breath, and generate elevated emotions, you shift out of survival chemistry and into creation chemistry. In this state, the brain is no longer obsessing over what could go wrong. It is open to new possibilities of what could go right. Another key aspect of dissolving doubt is to catch how it shows up in language. The words you speak reinforce the state of being you live in. Doubt often slips into sentences like, "What if it doesn't work?" or "Things never go my way." Each time such words are spoken, they send signals to the subconscious confirming the old program. By consciously shifting language to reflect trust, you retrain the subconscious to accept a new narrative. Words like, "Things are always unfolding in my favor," "Life is constantly supporting me," create new internal associations. Repeated often, they become the script that overrides doubt. The body also plays a role in sustaining doubt. Notice how the body feels when you are doubtful. The shoulders slump, the chest contracts, the breath becomes shallow, and the posture signals defeat. The body learns to memorize this posture as a state of being. To break the habit, you must embody the opposite physically as well. Stand tall, breathe deeply, open the chest, and move with the energy of someone who trusts life. The body influences the mind just as the mind influences the body. When you inhabit the physiology of trust, the emotions of trust become easier to access. Breaking the habit of doubt is not about pretending that challenges do not exist. It is about changing your relationship to them. When doubt arises, instead of interpreting it as evidence that failure is near, you see it as an invitation to strengthen your practice of trust. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to choose differently, to reinforce the state of being that knows life is working for you. With enough repetition, the brain and body stop automatically reverting to doubt and start automatically moving toward trust. The more you practice, the faster you catch yourself when the old pattern surfaces. What once spiraled into hours or days of worry can be shifted in minutes. This is the power of neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself based on experience. By repeatedly choosing trust over doubt, gratitude over fear, and possibility over limitation, you literally reprogram the structure of the brain and the chemistry of the body. You are no longer a prisoner of the old program, you are the architect of a new one. As this transformation deepens, you begin to feel lighter. The constant tension of anticipating the worst begins to dissolve. In its place emerges a calm inner knowing that, no matter what appears in the moment, everything is ultimately moving in your favor. You carry yourself differently, speak differently, and respond differently to life. The habit of doubt no longer defines you. The habit of trust becomes your new identity. This shift does not happen overnight, but with every conscious choice to step out of doubt and into certainty, you are aligning yourself more fully with the reality where everything always works out for you. When you begin to act as if everything always works out for you, something remarkable starts to unfold. You no longer chase life, life begins to chase you. This is the essence of becoming a magnet for opportunities. Opportunities are not random events. They are drawn to the frequency you radiate, the energy you carry, the thoughts you think, the emotions you feel, the beliefs you embody. Creates an invisible field around you. That field interacts with the energy of the environment, drawing in people, circumstances, and events that resonate with your state of being. When your inner state is aligned with trust, gratitude, and the belief that life is unfolding in your favor, you naturally attract experiences that validate those feelings. To understand how this magnetism works, consider how people respond to energy in daily life. Imagine entering a room where someone radiates confidence, peace, and joy. Without them saying a word, you feel drawn to their presence. They appear approachable, trustworthy, and inspiring. Now, think of someone who carries tension, doubt, or negativity. Even if they say all the right things, their energy feels heavy, and you instinctively withdraw. This is magnetism in action. The energy you embody does not remain contained within you. It influences how others perceive and respond to you. Opportunities often come through people, and the state you broadcast determines who notices you, who feels safe with you, and who wants to collaborate or open doors for you. Becoming a magnet is not about forcing outcomes, but about radiating the energy of the outcomes you desire. When you embody certainty that life always works out, your words carry more conviction, your posture communicates confidence, and your decisions flow from clarity rather than fear. This state naturally attracts situations that match it. For instance, someone who believes opportunities are scarce will overlook or dismiss chances right in front of them because their inner state is not tuned to notice abundance. Meanwhile, someone who lives in the vibration of everything working out will see possibilities in unexpected places. What might appear as a dead end to one person becomes an opening to another, simply because of the energy they bring to the moment. Magnetism is deeply tied to coherence. When the heart and mind are in harmony, the electromagnetic field around the body becomes strong and orderly. This coherent state signals alignment, and that alignment acts like a beacon. The stronger and more coherent your energy, the more easily you draw in experiences that match it. People may call it luck or coincidence, but in truth, it is resonance. You are resonating with opportunities on the frequency of your chosen future, and the outer world cannot help but reflect it back to you. One of the most powerful ways to amplify this magnetism is by practicing elevated emotions. When you wake up and generate feelings of gratitude, the life you are creating, you send a signal into the field that says, "I already have it." That frequency draws more experiences to be grateful for. When you practice joy before anything external gives you a reason, you broadcast joy, and people and situations that vibrate with joy are pulled toward you. When you live in trust, you exude a calm confidence that makes others want to support you, connect with you, and share opportunities with you. It is important to remember that opportunities do not always appear in obvious forms. Sometimes they come disguised as challenges, delays, or detours. But when you embody the belief that everything works out for you, you see these moments differently. Instead of perceiving them as obstacles, you recognize them as redirections, stepping stones, or hidden openings. This perception keeps your energy magnetic even in the face of uncertainty. Because you trust the process, you remain open and receptive, and that openness allows you to see opportunities others might miss. Becoming a magnet for opportunities also involves letting go of desperation. When you chase after outcomes with fear, you emit a frequency of lack. That frequency repels rather than attracts. It communicates that you do not yet have what you want, and so you continue to create more experiences of not having. But when you act as if everything always works out, you embody the energy of already being provided for. This energy is calm, relaxed, and confident. It is the energy of someone who knows the right door will open, the right people will appear, and the right timing will unfold. That calm magnetism draws what you desire with far less effort than chasing ever could. Opportunities are also drawn to clarity. When you are clear about who you are becoming and what kind of life you are creating, your energy reflects that clarity. People sense it in your words, in your presence, and in your actions. This clarity signals to the field that you are ready, and the field responds with aligned opportunities. But when you are confused, doubtful, or scattered, the signals you broadcast are incoherent, and opportunities that match your desires cannot find a clear pathway to you. By consistently acting as if everything works out, you sharpen your inner clarity. You know what you stand for, what you value, and what kind of reality you are choosing. That certainty is magnetic. As you strengthen this way of being, you may notice synchronicities increasing. A chance conversation leads to a new collaboration. A delayed flight introduces you to someone who becomes a mentor. An apparent setback creates space for a better opportunity. Arrive. These are not accidents, they are reflections of your magnetism. The universe organizes itself around the energy you broadcast, and when your energy says, "I trust, I am open, and I know it always works out," life conspires to prove you right. The shift into becoming a magnet for opportunities is not about striving harder, but about embodying differently. It is not about hustling endlessly, but about aligning fully. The more you live in the energy of trust, gratitude, and joy, the stronger your magnetism becomes. You are no longer at the mercy of chance or luck. You become a conscious participant in the flow of life, drawing in the people, ideas, and experiences that match your inner state. Opportunities begin to arrive with greater ease, and the path forward unfolds in ways that feel almost effortless when you begin to live as if everything always works out for you. You step into a completely different way of being. You are no longer trapped in the loops of doubt, fear, or limitation that once defined your reality. Instead, you are consciously choosing to embody the power of assumption, reprogram the subconscious mind, align your emotions with the future you desire, break free from the habit of doubt, and radiate the magnetism that naturally attracts opportunities. Each of these practices is not about pretending or forcing. They are about becoming. They are about choosing, moment by moment, to live from the future you want rather than the past you already experienced. As you practice this shift, the external world begins to mirror your inner transformation. Life responds to your state of being. Doors open where there were once walls, synchronicities multiply, and challenges transform into stepping stones. You begin to realize that acting as if everything always works out is not a trick of the mind. It is a declaration of who you are and what reality you are committed to living in. This is the essence of transformation, the decision to create from the inside out, to generate the future now, and to walk in trust that life is always arranging itself in your favor.